Right, what up? Welcome back. Number 29, I think. Yep, 29. Project Bandit tailpiece. Right, this is going to be a defining video because this is one where I deal with the tailpiece rear light. Now, I'm going to try and French this backlight. I've mounted it on the back of the battery box, which is probably about 3 inches in from the ellipse curve of the tail, and that's quite a deep French hold. If you've heard it before, Frenching is a principle of putting a light or an aerial or some sort of thing, even a lock I've seen it done with, down inside a little tube. So they sit inside a tube and then the outside is completely flush. It's pretty common. It's been being done since the 1940s, I think. It's 50s. It's one of them old hot rod things, and I absolutely love it. So I want to incorporate it on the back end of the bike. I'm going to have to chamfer the tunnel, because if it's down a complete tunnel, it is the rear light, so you won't see it much from anything other than dead behind, and that isn't very safe. So I want to kind of funnel the French a bit, so it'll be a modified French rear light, a little bit curved, to get more of an angle of light out the back, just purely for safety, because it's countryside around it, and then there's a lot of dark when you're riding. So that's really the inner part of it, and the outer part of it got to be made and then cut out underneath. Anyway, you'll see. Stick around, stay tuned, you'll see what happens. The other thing is I want to try and lift this off. Now, I've been saying to all of you, say, oh, how's it going to come off? It goes underneath the indicators. Well, you've seen that. It lifts off now. Well, I hope so. I haven't tried yet, but it should lift off. But obviously, still got this piece under the back light. Now, it will be able to trim that out when I finish what I'm doing today. And today I'm going to try and actually unbolt it and lift it off for the first time since it's been built in situ. So by the end of this video, I'll either look like a genius or a bell end. You can enjoy. Watch to the end to find out. Stick around, stay tuned. See if I can set fire to it. Okay, this is the subject for today. This bar is in the way, so it's got to be cut out. But before it's cut out, much like these, I'm going to bring one over the top, which will form the back of the tunnel, as it were. And I've got to put one at the front, which will form the front of the tunnel. And one's got to be bigger than the other so that it tapers in, and you can see the light from more than this angle. I want to be able to see the light from about 30 degrees. I've got a very good friend who's an MOT man. He does my MOTs and stuff. Pretty cool guy. He does cars and all sorts. And being an MOT tester, he is there to champion the government's cause. He's there to test vehicles to make sure they're roadworthy. But as an MOT tester, he's the one I've met in my life that has got a proper attitude. If it's not quite right, he'll guide you on how to do it exactly so that he can pass it, because it's his decision. He's a qualified MOT tester, and I trust his word, and I don't take something down to him that is blatantly stupid and unsafe, because he'll just laugh at me and I'll make myself look an idiot, and that matters a lot to me because he has respect for me in mutually. So I do want to make sure that I do a reasonably safe job of this in view of the angle, and get that right so that when I take it down for MOT test at the end of all this, because it's got an MOT, but I want to retest it, because then he may have an issue with the tyre being uncovered. I'm going to work on. I've got some ideas in the future, but for now, this rear light, it's a very crucial matter. The indicators work very well. They're out there in the atmosphere. They're going to do exactly what they're meant to do. They poke out of that, and now I want to make sure the rear light is equally as trick and looks good. Also, this has become a little bit flexy since I've cut those sides out, so welding that in and then topping it across will make that look a little bit better. So there we go. Let's get bending. Some script. Fold that in half. The rearmost one go in there. Should curve a minute. Right. And someone suggested a little while ago, why don't I get one of those copper pipe benders that plumbers use? Now, mobile ones, yeah, I could get that. But this is the first bending I've done. Probably of any kind for about 2 or 3 years, so I wouldn't really use it. I went and bought I do that now and again. I went and bought a tool. I bought a Harley Softail shock stripping tool to strip down the shocks on your Harley Softail, as the name would dictate. Bastard. Start again. And I used it once to strip the shocks on a bobber I was building, because I couldn't borrow one, rent one, hire one, nothing. So I bought one, £75. And it still sits in the toolbox, used once, one careful owner. So with all tools, if you can improvise, adapt and overcome, as the old saying goes, you'll end up with a better wallet and less wasted tools. Certainly if you're going to use it more than once, yeah, go and buy one, or more than twice. But I don't need a pipe bender, I've got spanners. This is twisting as it goes as well. That's better. Right, there we go. Now it's got to sit, I reckon, about 1/4 inch all the way around the outside of the light, just to give a bit of space. And in there. Okay, so cutting off. Got to trim it off. Okay, let's get ready to weld it in. Blobby blobby. Good old weld magnets. Right, making that strong again, will be how strong, so that it's going to hold that when I cut that centerpiece out, and it's not going to flex apart, because then it'll be like 3 or 4 shapes. So, excellent. Right, now got to build the outer one. So, same again, just a bit of a wider arch. Yeah, should do it. And hopefully should be able to make it look half decent. So, as ever, this is just a case of trial and error. Until it works. Right, overcoming. Now obviously the tunnel would be cool if it was like that, right down inside there, but remember the curve of this then won't be served because that will be sticking out, so it's got to be in to pick up the curve. So it's not going to be as deep as it might have looked initially. that's better. You can see that was measured that way around. Alright, this is just a little bit of finessing, as the old word goes. Let's get a bench, not made by Fisher Price. It's just literally finessing these bends in so that a little bit of class, a little bit of an elegant line to it. Might as well while we're doing it. Just give you a little progress report. I'll have a look. Right, the story so far. Remember the last one? I managed to take about ½ an inch in the end out of that, which has given me a much more pleasing looking ellipse. It was a little bit rounded. Now this is what I had in mind by French in the light. Obviously, when you imagine that being the outside line, and that's it, you'll see nothing. But you can see the light from here, which is probably 45 or maybe even 50 degrees to the side. So that is absolutely fine, not a problem at all. It may have looked, obviously it's a long way in, so it looked like it was going to be down a long tunnel, but remember this has got to come up and work its way to there, so that couldn't afford to be out there. Right, so the next thing, obviously still this whole back end is flexing because it's just on these two. So I just want to run a bar around there to the front and around that side, and then that will brace it all up. Once it's braced up, I can lob these 2 center pieces out here. Yeah, I can. So next thing is bend a bar around the back, and then it will go across there, and I'll just lob the middle out. Roughly the same curve, so I can just adjust inwards. Right. Here we are. Now that little bar took roughly just under ½ an hour to make that, just to get the angle right and the curve right. I quite like that. And let's pull it in a bit as well. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Let's show you what we've done. Right, so far, episode 29, what we've done is done the French tunnel thing. That's what I think, looks best. That had to curve and it had to be in that far. Would have been nice to bring it right out here, but then we're in a box tail. So that's got to follow a line, and it's actually going to have to curve in more, but that's later. Now, that means naturally that this was one piece because we cut that out last time, tidied it up a little bit. But what I've got to do now is cut that one off so I can get the light out, or get it off and leave the light there. I'm going to leave that one in place for now, purely because it's a brace. I might cut it out at the end. I don't know. It won't go anywhere if I cut that out, but I just might leave it in for, if I leave it in, it's in. I can always cut it out later. You can't uncut a cut. So that's the sum total of today's, number 29. Now, the moment of truth. I'm going to lob that out and then see if this thing actually comes off the bike. Right, here we go. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't. I can always adjust it. Something else a few people have asked is how much does it weigh? It must be getting quite heavy. Don't know, I'll tell you in a minute. What's quite cool is as you undo the bolts, it's not going twang and moving in different directions, so that's pretty good. Stays where it is. It shows it's not twisted or distorted under heat, and jigging it from the start was a good idea. Right, what do you reckon? 3, 2, 1. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. That was too easy. Do it again, boy. There we are. Back on. Fuck yeah. I freak myself out sometimes. In one hand. Ta-da. One hand. That's amazing. That is amazing. Now that, I would say, probably doesn't even weigh 2 kilos. So I'm quite pleased with that. There you go. And back on. Slip straight into place. And obviously when it's covered, you won't be able to do that, so it'll just be on the sides and lift it off. Excellent. There we are. Right, now just going to grind a little few of these cuts. I'm just going to lap them back and clean it all up a little bit. Just make it look a bit neater. Perhaps tack a few underwelds in just to make sure it's double strong. And I reckon we've got one little bit left, which is that curvature on the back, and I've got some special thin rod for that. So let's do a little bit more welding, tidy this up. I won't bother showing you it all. That's ready to go. Right, just doubling over where those two passed each other on the inside and outside, and that should make them stronger. Right, now I can say that as far as the strength is concerned, that's done. Now, the idea is battery's there, everything's working, nothing needs to be touched. If I need to do anything, it's all accessible, and the tailpiece, literally once it's fiberglassed over, that will then just drop like this, straight on. That's it. I'll keep it bolted to the bike, however, for all the other work, because I just think the more you weld on it, the more you're going to end up distorting it. And at the moment it's pretty much perfect. There we go. Done. And there we are. Little look round. Quite a long old session, even by my standards. I think that's 4.5, 5 hours. Come in the garage this morning at about 10 o'clock. It's just coming up past 3/4 but that is a lot of work. Just getting all these angles right. Things like there. Getting that curve right on both of them, around, and then right on them too. Little things like that. If you want it right, it takes time. It's nice to get a brace into there as well. Start making that a bit stronger. And that looks how I wanted it to. I'll mirror the inside, but I think that will be plenty enough. Light will get out of there, even from, what are we now? That's 50 degrees to the side of the bike. Even at 45 degrees you can see that clearly, so that is not going to be an issue. It really isn't. And the number plate light will just shine down underneath because it's up there, up under the light. Right, so there we go. Right, there you go, 29. Oh, blimey, that was a real mammoth session. Just wanted to move forward a lot, get some of that stuff done that was stressing me out, you know, just that whether it would go right or whether I'd have to budge it, because at any point you just feel, I'm just going to lose this. I'm just going to lose the eye for detail. I'm just going to go, look, that'll do. It's a rat bike. But I've just with resisted, I think is probably the right word, and said, no, I want a really nice job. And I'm trying to do it as if it's for a shiny bike. And then when it's on a rat bike, it will look even better. So cool. There we go. Thanks for tuning in and watching number 29. Appreciate that. Appreciate all the comments. Going to get this edited now and join to the next one, because the next one is the little curvy bits, and I've got some special wire for that. See you next time.